Ladies and gentlemen, we are now here with Amy Jensen, and it's important that you listen to this prequel to why we're posting Secrets of Saturn as a possible reason why we're going to be discussing what she's talking about, and let her say the rest. Go ahead, Amy.
Okay, so I did Secrets of Saturn episode 4 in July 24th of 2014, just 4 months after my children were trafficked by Judge Richard C. Perkins of Carver County to their pedophile father, Jeffrey Allen Paloranta, on February 27th, 2014. And back then I didn't know barely anything to what I know now, but this interview essentially lays the foundation for the accountability program, or the judicial child sex trafficking program of the United States. And so this will back up, basically Pizzagate. It backs up judicial child sex trafficking. It backs up pretty much everything, because it was the beginning. And it was also, not only was it the beginning of the major judicial child sex trafficking, but it was also the full-blown, in effect, Fathers Pedo Rights movement was already full-blown in effect at that point. And so this interview will match 4 million other mothers' stories in the United States right now, or more mothers, because there's so many that have just lost their children, and we haven't never heard from them again, because they've either killed themselves, or the shame killed them, or the shame of their families and communities killed them or silenced them. And so there's those women that are out there too we hope to reach. And so yeah, that's pretty much the importance of this interview. It's not a very good interview. It's explicit. It's gross. It's sexual child abuse of my own daughters, and by their father. And so it's not something that people want to hear or talk about, but it is what it is. And so that's the importance of this interview at this point, I guess. I don't know what else to say.
Well, before we hang up on this interview, just I might say, ladies and gentlemen, I'm not gonna go too much into her business, but due to circumstances that might be beyond her control, she might not be able to be here for her interview. But we gotta be there for her, her children, and her story. So we needed this data to be looked at, listened to. I don't give a darn if you're who you are in the world. Her story, her children's story. She said this was 2014. God,
That was the year my children were trafficked judicially. In the 3-minute hearing, my children were judicially child sex trafficked in the midst of child sex trafficking evidence reports and disclosure by my children. I reported to the Meeker County Police Department on Saturday morning, February 8th, and he had me arrested 14 hours later while hosting our 7-year-old daughter's slumber birthday party in our home. I had 5 little girls in my home sleeping, and they came out. He called his buddies in Carver County, Minnesota, at the police department, and they came an hour and a half out of jurisdiction without a warrant at 2 o'clock in the morning to take me and to take the Lenovo tablet, which holds the evidence that Carver County covered up, which I actually have a police forensic report stating that backpages.com and other references to escort services were found. And they told me that my children's father wanted my children in foster care that night, and he wanted me in jail. And so they closed. Carver County stole jurisdiction from Meeker County. Meeker County told me not to send any more messages to my children's father and to carry on with my birthday party as planned, and to bring the Lenovo tablet to the investigator in Meeker County on Monday morning. And 14 hours after I had that conversation with Meeker County, Carver County showed up and took over. And now for 3 years I've been on trial in criminal felony terroristic threats charges. They added 3 additional charges after I busted them for having the information on the tablet. which is what got the forensic police report corrected to show, because after the investigator, Pat Murphy, hung up on me 3 times, I mentioned the third time I called him back up. My mother had come down from up north that morning and had taken a picture of the website on her cell phone, so it was real funny that they didn't find anything on the tablet, and then 3 days later I got a forensic police report stating what I reported, and I got 3 additional charges. So my trial has been, they've marked me incompetent to stand trial. They gag ordered my Rule 20 results. I filed in the Minnesota Court of Appeals. I filed an appeal to the incompetence of October 29th, 2015. Now it's been 11 months. They dismissed my appeal, and they wouldn't even hear my family court case for nearly 3 years because of these false allegations and charges and these created charges from Jeff Pallaranta and Carver County, because they wanted my criminal case to be handled before they handled my children's case, and which is completely corrupt, and because one has nothing to do with the other. And recently, my own court family judge, Eric Broughton, he in July 27th, 2016, in a conference call, he ordered that a new guardian ad litem be applied to my children by mandate, which is by law. He ordered a new supervisor. He also gave an order that he believed that domestic child abuse was occurring upon my daughters by Jeff Pallaranta. That was July 27th, 2016. It's January 21st, 2017. I had seen my children 1 time in 5 months. I've been totally... my children's father had some sort of a connection to Perkins, who said he was going to be keeping his fingers on my case to review, advise, and rule over, even though I had him legally removed, because now he was the judge on my family case and my criminal case. So you see how they got it all intertwined. They wouldn't let me have my children based on these false allegations, and now they didn't think that I was going to fight this long and last this long. And so now we've been through all the courts, and nobody's gotten nothing, and everything's just sitting, and everybody's, they're still just keeping my kids away. And at Christmas, my judge authorized my children to come home to my house by Christmas with my guardian attorney. Oh, he gave me a $50,000 free guardian attorney based on that conference call in July. And with all that strength and power that my judge just tried to give to my children and to protect my rights and to try and help, somehow my schmuck pedophile children's criminal father is managed to override a guardian ad litem, my attorney, our family court judge, by not allowing my children into our home by Christmas, breaking my promise to my children. And, he did it by 4 days just to do it. So if that's not a power and control move, I don't know what is. And it's my belief at this point in time that because of what Jeff has done in 2012 with his first false allegations on me, which were dismissed outright, and he was immediately ordered to return my children to me, and he would not return them to me. It took me 2 police stations to call. When I call for my children, the only thing I get to hear on the background is my daughter screaming, "Mommy, Mommy, Mommy, help me, Mommy." And no one will help me help my children. And so when he did finally decide to bring my girls back the next day, they were 5 and 1. My 5-year-old stood there shocked and told me that her daddy told her that they were never going to see their mommy ever again. And my 1-year-old cold clocked me in the face 3 times and squeezed my neck until 1 o'clock in the morning saying, I'm scared. This was in 2012. It's 2017, people. My children's entire lives, my daughter Vivian, I haven't seen her on her birthday since I gave birth to her in the hospital. This man left me in the hospital to go to the casino. He never even, and he's not even listed on the fucking birth certificate of my children. because he denied paternity to enter into the Judicial Child Sex Trafficking Father's Pedo Rights Program, the Father's Rights Initiative, which teams up with Department of Human Services, aka Child Support, which all domestic violence issues and all child abuse issues all fall under child support in DHS. So anyone who's dealing with domestic violence and anyone who's dealing with child abuse in the United States of America right now, family court, is not getting any fucking help because it's all tied to the money. And so because DHS made an actual partnership in 2006, which the program, this new Father's Pedo program, this Judicial Child Sex Trafficking Program, this one that we're in right now, the current one, began in 2007, went into effect in 2007. And so it's taken, we're at the 10th year. In 10 years, they have managed to completely demolish motherhood. They have demolished the history of generations of the beginning of time. Men are not mothers, okay? They're never going to be mothers, ever. And I don't know why they would even want that. They have everything else. All we women have ever had is that we were mothers. That was it. We got the children. We let you beat us. We let you call us names. We let you do all this stuff, and yet we just want our children. And now look at what they've done in 10 years. My daughter is going to be 10 years old on February 2nd, okay? Her entire life, both my daughter's entire lives are stricken with this affliction. This is a soul affliction. These kinds of things demolish children's lives. My daughter's had 12 diagnoses between the two of them within 3 weeks after being out of my care. Nobody's listening. Children are dying. Women are dying. Men are killing themselves because you good men are caught up, because good fathers and protective mothers are caught in the same pedophile judicial child sex trafficking program, and you don't know it. It's the same thing. It's not father's rights against mother's rights. There's no children's rights. Children don't have any rights in the United States of America because women don't have any rights. So the only ones who have rights right now in the United States of America is men. The Equal Rights Amendment wasn't ratified. There's 3 states apparently left to ratify it. So women don't even have equal rights. This is a problem. And when the whole entire world has been trained that, oh, poor daddy, they're being treated this and that. Look, all women have ever asked from you men was to fucking help us support our children. That's it. We're not asking for more. You've got some movie stars out there who maybe take some basketball players for some millions and shit, but the most part of us are not getting our nails done. We can't even barely buy more than 1 jar of baby food per day. And what child support is set at anyways is not even a third of what it actually costs to raise a child. And so you've got men going around crying because DHS finally decided to take charge, the government did, to go in and now automatically deduct child support from now you guys. And now you're all crying. Sorry, not you. I don't mean to put you into this. Now all these men are crying about having to actually fucking pay for their children along with us to help us. And so they cry a little bit and they thought, DHS says, well, we better partner up with the ones who got the money, the fathers, because all us mothers are at home with nothing but the babies. And they made a partnership. And so with that partnership, the men were granted serious protections. They were granted benefits. They were granted benefits in the form of criminal records being erased, probation, violations being ignored, missed child support payments being suppressed, meaning no action. Meanwhile, you have mothers. If you're a single mother in the United States of America right now during this economy, does anybody really think that it doesn't take more than 1 day and $1 short before you lose your home in this society? So we have a problem. And when everybody is, pitting against each other, this is about the good versus the evil. It's not man or woman. It's good versus evil. It's sociopathy and apathy versus empathy. And if you're a good man and a good father, you have every reason to join us. Good people. These fathers' penal rights, they're sending the most egregious animals out in front of the program to pave the way, because they were the ones who were hidden underneath the shadow of good fathers just wanting to see their children, you see? And so there's 3 million mothers right now, because that's probably approximately the percentage of psychopaths who actually get children. Because usually in the olden days, the law of the best interest of the children would have protected women and children against these types of abusers. So what you're seeing right now is the result of what happens when the government just gives children to anybody for any reason. And it takes a hell of a lot more. And you can ask any good adoptive parent or good foster home family or good auntie that it takes a hell of a lot more than just adding sperm or growing a baby. It takes a hell of a lot more to be a good parent. So, I'm kind of upset right now because I'm in a serious situation with my children and I'm scared for them. I don't believe that my children's father will actually bring my children home on an order. If my judge does, if we do make it to trial, which we're weeks away from going, if we do, I am fighting to death that my children will not return to me alive. And I've said this since the beginning, and I'm saying it now. And so the closer I get to my children, the more dangerous it becomes for them. And as we can see, this Christmas was a perfect example of that. 3 years he kept them out of my home and told them that I didn't love them and that I just walked away. I moved across the street 10 steps.
Well, you had more protection, and they didn't know that.
That's it. That's all I got. It's important.
Amy.
Thank you.
Amy,
Thank you.
You said it all right there. This information's getting out there, and you don't have to worry about a thing. We at Last Voice of Liberty and all the surrounding people, that we have your back. There's nothing more you need to say. This is getting out there on Tuesday. You got whoever's doing this, who's ever behind the curtains of Oz, you got a reckoning.